Hello, everybody, and welcome to Let's Play Final Fantasy Tactics: The War of the Lions, with me, Get Daved. Let's watch a pretty cool opening cutscene with some confusing poetry, and keep your eyes peeled for the Zodiac Stones appearing throughout. I'm a big fan of the combination of all the different art styles. Alright, welcome to the game, and let's get into it. This is a remake of Final Fantasy Tactics: The Original. Completely new translation. Given how in-depth the original story was, I'm very excited for this. Perhaps adding some clarity. And I'm going to say give yourself 100 Get Dave points if you've used the word hithertofore in a sentence today. You can use it later today if you want. House Beowulf. In the Japanese version, it sounded a lot like the name Beowulf, as in the hero of the ancient poem, so I still don't know how to say it, but it's worth noting. And this sentence is in fact quite long. So, much like the original, the game is kind of coming from Arislam's perspective, retelling a story. And we'll keep him as Ramza this time. We'll have a generic name to Get Daved later on. And birth date will be September 21st, in honor of the birth of my channel on YouTube. I'll say this, the remake presents itself very well. One thing I felt the original lacked was cutscenes of Delita riding on a chocobo for a long time. They've taken care of that in this one, so that's exciting. I've played through the first little bit of this game, in the PSP version which we're playing, but only just a little bit to make sure I could record it correctly. I'm going through the emulator PPSSPP. It's just the standard version of the game, with the catch that I applied a patch to resolve a bug with slowdown that was in the actual release of the game. There's a couple little audio problems that were lost in the port, and some graphical slowdown. We've applied a patch to correct the slowdown, and it's just easier to record off of an emulator rather than a PSP. Opening little cinematic here. Not a ton happens in it, but... And I was making fun of it earlier, because it's just Delita riding, but... Here's a cool look of the Rule of Thirds. But just scenery of the world that the game takes place in. Interesting little bits, like the land looking relatively nice, Except wherever there's evidence of human habitation, there's ruins. Even the trees are dead. Welcome to Orban Monastery. As we go through the game, I'll be explaining little battle mechanics and stuff, but that'll sort of be throughout. Very pious princess. It's a little revealing and interesting that she's here to pray and everybody's feeling a certain sense of urgency. Gafgarian still won't kneel. In the original, I didn't get the impression Agrias and Gafgarian hated each other this much, but they, really have no love lost. They're both huge badasses as well, so it'd be an interesting fight. A little hesitation suggests he's having a hard time coming to terms with that. She says, deliver us, but they're only here for you, Ovalia. To be fair, those three knights, Agrias and her two friends, probably could handle all of those enemies. But this should be a slaughter, and it's the tutorial battle. So that's okay. We're only going to be in control of Ramza for this one. That's a pretty cynical response. It's also kind of interesting. So, Gafgarian is an unscrupulous sellsword and is going for kill them all, knowing that that's a provocative action. I wonder, I've never thought about this before, but I wonder if he's already on the pay of someone else. He certainly only takes care of himself. I don't know what Tailwind does. Oh, okay. This is interesting. So Agrius normally has, well, and does have, some very powerful sword abilities that come from her class, Holy Knight. They're kind of like what Gafgarian did on his turn. Oh my. So that did indirect damage, and that Ram's armor is gone now. And armor gives you hit points, so that was a very potent attack. This battle is pretty much of no consequence, though, because we're going to do Chapter 1 of the game after this, which is a flashback. And we're going to sort out all of our stuff there, and the equipment we have and everything. And then it'll lead us to this point. The game only really gives you just randomly generated placeholder stuff. So Agrius was out of range of her awesome sword abilities, so she just went with Magic, which is a randomly generated secondary skill she has. Now that there's some enemies closer, she'll be nice and effective. Kind of an interesting choice by the second knight there. I don't really know what the AI is thinking there. Maybe just trying to set up. Sometimes the game they'll try setting up moves for future turns, so if they don't like what they've done or what their options are, they'll like set it so that if on their next turn they can walk into range better. I don't know. Got a bunch of squishy enemies, we just need to kill them all. Alright. This is what Agrius is actually great for. Can hit up to 5 enemies and randomly cast Stop. I don't remember the exact percentage, but we're looking at 1 in 5-ish maybe. The game has very extensive battle mechanics. They're a thing of mathematical beauty. If you're into that. And I have a bunch of it memorized, but not the stop percentage on Judgment Blade, formerly known as Stasis Sword. We're all bottled up. I think... Yeah, for some reason we got a little lag there. Again, a lot of these problems are not unique to emulation. The original port was just a little fussy, let's say. There we go. So I chose not to move on Ram's turn there because it looked like Rad had planned out a healing spell. And success! The one enemy knight was basically being ignored because he's stopped. The archers are also showing off their wonderfully pesky skill to both lob arrows and... how inconvenient. He's gonna run. And their ability to charge up their shots as well. Well played, Archer. Okay, we gotta finish off that knight. Or at the very least prevent the chemist from prolonging this. I can't really reach the knight effectively, but I think Agrius or Gafgarian can get him. If we put some heat on the chemist... that should complicate his decisions. Again, I don't know if you could lose this battle if you tried. A lot of things would have to go wrong. You could hear the higher pitched swing in her attack swing there. That means critical hit. That'll randomly generate a bonus from 0 to about 50%. And if it's a physical attack, sometimes it'll push the enemy back as well. I'm coming for you. Speed is one of the more important stats in the game, so Ram's ability to increase his speed by 1 is actually like really helpful. It's a bit less valuable later in the game where increasing by a single point doesn't adjust the scale as much. Right now everybody's speed is about 6. If we bump it up to 7 or 8 as I've done, that's like a 30% improvement. Later on it'll be about half that, but still, he's a great support character.
The princess!
This way. Be quick. And try making a little less noise.
I'll not take orders from you!
You've quite a mouth on you, princess. Forgive me. 'Tis your birth and faith that wrong you, not I.
Hold there!
Don't help Ramza.
Is it truly him?
I cannot be!
Daluta, he lives? But why does he fight under the banner of Duke Goltana?
We've got a turncoat. Welcome to Final Fantasy Tactics, everybody.